I want to give you a step by step on how to borrow money from Cash App this year, okay? And it's important if you are interested in borrowing money from Cash App. Here is the approach that I want you to pay attention to. Number one, there is actually a trifecta you need to remember when you are, because not everybody is eligible to borrow money from Cash App. So whether or not you can use Cash App borrow depends on several things, including the top three things you need to always remember. Your credit history and score, that's number one. The state where you are at, so the city and state where you are at, so your residence really plays an important role because Cash App actually doesn't have the borrow feature in all states. Because see, the thing is, when you have to actually as a lender, you have to actually receive a license from state authorities to actually engage in lending money. Okay, and Cash App hasn't received actually that certificate from that license, if you will, from all 50 states as of yet. And so that's the second thing. The third thing you need to remember is that how often you use Cash App and whether you have an activated cash card will play an important role when it comes to actually facilitating your borrowing of up to $1,000 from Cash App. Because the thing is, when you think about Cash App, don't think about borrowing like $100,000. No, Cash App is first and foremost a mobile platform that basically facilitates, if you will, the transfer of funds between users, either from a linked bank account or a stored balance within the app. Now, the borrow feature actually was launched in 2020 during COVID. Cash App really had a brilliant idea of actually introducing a new product. So they actually introduced this in 2020, and as of now, this borrow feature has about 2 to 3 million active users. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so you have the possibility to get cash real fast, but don't expect to have something like something really major. You can borrow anywhere from $20 all the way to $400, and maximum, if you are good, if your usage of the app is really good, they will bump you up to $1,000. Okay, that's the only thing you can have. Cash App is kind of similar to a cash advanced app if you think about it. And in terms of APR is kind of decent too. You're looking at the 20 to 30% when you annualize things. But they charge you like 1.25% weekly. But when you actually annualize things, it's around 30 to 35% really, depending on your FICO score, of course. Now, let me dig a little deeper. I want to really talk to you specifically about how to borrow money from Cash App this year. Now, the thing is that taking out a loan is relatively easy within Cash App. And so after hitting the borrow button, you actually will have a couple of options for loans you could take out. Because see, the thing is, as a user, you can't request borrow loans yourself. Like you can't be like, like you can't go to a live stream, like you can't really go to Cash App the same way you go to a live stream or SoFi or let's say another lender like Upgrade or Upstart and choose how much you want to borrow. No, Cash App will suggest to you basically the loan options that you can have. But good thing is you can reject or accept those options depending on how you feel. Okay. And if you choose to accept one, you will next enter some personal information. That's kind of cool. And that's actually the standard personal information, like your social, your birthday, your address. And also you got to really talk to Cash App about your ability to repay the loan. So Cash App wants to have a clear idea about your income and employment. And Cash App also plays they pay attention to how long you have been employed. Like simply being employed is not really gonna cut it. You have to really tell them how long you have been employed. I mean, since when? Okay. And next you will read and sign a user agreement that basically outlines the terms and conditions of the loan and also the repayment process. Okay. And some of the terms actually involve agreeing to a credit check and acknowledging that Cash App can report information about your account to credit bureaus such as TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Okay, kind of like the classic loan process. Okay, your transaction will be, your payment history rather, will be reported to credit bureaus. Okay, so those are pretty. This is pretty classic. Now, one thing I need to say is that basically, when it comes to a Cash App loan, you will make 4 weekly payments using your stored Cash App balance or withdrawing from a linked bank account until the full loan is taken care of. Okay. And if you don't pay on time, you will accrue weekly interest. And if you fail to meet the conditions of the repayment plan, your loan could default, and Cash App could withdraw, and they will withdraw the overdue amount from your bank account or app balance without even informing you. So they have access to your account. Remember, they have the info. They ask you your account number and also your routing number. So they have that kind of info. So if you're thinking about borrowing money from Cash App this year, it's important to really pay attention to eligibility. Okay, how do you know if you are eligible to use Cash App Borrow this year? Because like I said, Cash App Borrow is not it's not really it's not a service where you can just go and say, you know what, I want to use it, or no, you got to really qualify. And I give you when I started this show, I talked to you about the trifecta you need to pay attention to before you know if you qualify or not for Cash App Borrow. Okay. So this is so the thing is that only certain pre-screened users are eligible to use Cash App Borrow this year. So it's one of those things where think about Borrow as an invite only and an invite only program, and eligibility is actually determined by the three factors that I really said to you a little earlier. Okay, so it's not really Borrow is not really that prominently linked to your credit score. Borrow pays attention to how often and how much of a Cash App you use, okay, and how you use it. As a matter of fact, okay, what is your usage of the app? And the cool thing is, if you to find out if you are eligible to use Borrow, click the money button at the bottom left of the app's home screen, and Borrow will appear there if you can access it. And of course, if your state allows a Cash App to be a lender of record, okay, and if you don't see a Borrow within the app for any reason, you can't take out any loan now, but you may be able to do so in the future. So just be aware that there's nothing wrong with the app. There's nothing wrong with Cash App. It's just that they haven't actually thought of you as a reliable, if you will, as a reliable prospects for now. Okay, so consistently depositing and keeping your Cash App balance above $0 helps your approval odds, as does opening a cash card, a Visa debit card that's actually connected to your Cash App balance, and using it often. Cash App wants to make sure that before the service actually grants you a loan, that you actually are playing games with them. Okay, so basically, if you open a cash card, that's really a biggie, because it shows that you are willing to build a deeper relationship with Cash App. Okay, but by the way, again, Cash App Borrow is available in 36 states only, not all 50 states. So you just have to check whether or not your state is within that list. If not, you just have to wait a little bit before actually accessing the app. How do you actually borrow money from Cash App on Android? Let's talk about that. So if you are looking to borrow money directly from your Cash App on your Android device, you are in luck, because the Cash App Borrow feature allows you as a user to access funds quickly and conveniently. Okay, so I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to borrow money from Cash App on Android. So what you want to do here is that, first of all, it's important to understand that you want to open the Cash App. So that's the first step. So to begin the borrowing process, open the Cash App on your Android device. And if you don't have the app installed, you can download it from the Google Play Store. Pretty straightforward, nothing really complicated. Step number 2, you want to tap on the Money tab. So next, you want to navigate to the Money tab located at the bottom of the app's interface. Tap on it to proceed to the money-related features. Step number 3, you want to scroll down and select Borrow. So you scroll within the Money tab until you look at the Borrow option. Tap on it to access the borrowing feature. Step number 4, you want to unlock the Borrow feature. So before you can borrow money, as I said a little earlier, from Cash App, you may need to unlock the Borrow feature. So follow the prompts provided within the app to unlock this feature if necessary, because it may not be necessary, but if necessary, you can just unlock it and choose the loan amount. So after unlocking the Borrow feature, you'll be able to select the loan amount you wish to borrow. So Cash App offers loan amounts ranging from $20 all the way to $400, and in very extremely rare cases, the amount can go all the way to $1,000. And step number 6, you want to select a repayment option. So once you have chosen your desired loan amount, Cash App will present you with different repayment options. Select the repayment plan that suits your financial needs and preferences. And also, you want to review loan details. Pretty straightforward, okay? But so before finalizing your loan request, carefully review the loan details provided by Cash App. Make sure you understand the terms and conditions, including any associated fees. You want to read the fine prints. And the last step, you want to accept the terms and conditions. So if you're comfortable with the loan details and repayment terms, accept the terms and conditions presented by Cash App to proceed with your loan request. So pretty straightforward. So it's important to know that Cash App Borrow may not be available, as I said earlier, to all users on Android devices. Okay, and so eligibility criteria may still apply, right? So the your usage of the Cash App, your credit history, your and also your availability when it comes to the Cash App card, the Cash Card. I want to talk to you about how to borrow money from Cash App on iPhone this year. So the thing is that the process is pretty straightforward, even though it's a little different because the configurations are different. So to borrow money from Cash App on iPhone, follow this simple steps. So step number one, you want to open the Cash App, right? Tap on the profile icon on at the top left corner of the screen to access your account, and select the Cash option. And so that's step number two, right? Scroll down on the menu and find the Cash option. Tap on it to proceed. Step number three, you want to choose the Borrow option. So within the Cash section, you want to locate the Borrow option and tap on it to enter the borrowing interface. Step number four, you want to select the loan amount. So the loan amounts are pretty similar here as well, so nothing really different from the Android version. So choose the desired loan amount from the available options presented on the screen, and select the amount that best suits your needs. So again, $20 all the way to $200, and in some cases all the way to $400 and $1,000. And step number five, you have to actually select a repayment option. Review the repayment options available and choose the one that aligns with your financial situation and preferences, like your cash inflows and cash outflows, for instance. Okay. And step number six, you want to review the loan details. So please, at this point, kind of similar to what I told you for Android, you want to really take the time to read the fine prints. Take a moment to carefully review the loan details, including the loan amount, the repayment terms, and any applicable fees, because there will be fees anyway. So you just want to make sure that you are comfortable with the fees. And the last step here is that you have to accept the terms and conditions. So if you are satisfied with the loan details, accept the terms and conditions by tapping on the corresponding option. That's it, okay? You have successfully initiated the borrowing process on Cash App from your iPhone. Please note that Cash App Borrow feature is currently only available to a limited number of users. As I said to you a little earlier, make sure to check your eligibility and availability before attempting to borrow money through the app. I want to talk to you about the Cash App fees and interest rates, okay? So when getting a loan through Cash App Borrow, note that this feature provides you with a short-term loan, and this money can actually come through quickly, but Cash App charges a flat 5% fee for the loan that must be paid back over 4 weeks to avoid a 1.25% finance charge, okay? So that's pretty, you might say that's pretty high, but hey, listen, it is what it is. And so you also have Cash App peer-to-peer fees and interest rates. So for regular Cash App transactions, outside of, let's say, borrowing money, you may also incur fees, and standard deposits are typically free, and you should see them posted to your account within 3 business days. However, instant deposits will come with a fee ranging from 0.5% to 1.75%, but you will see this actually show up instantly to your debit card or account. So it's pretty transparent. So Cash App is really transparent on that front, okay? And so when I speak about Cash App Borrow, what are the loan limits and repayment terms? Well, the thing is, Cash App will let you know how much money you are approved to borrow. The amount is actually determined based on your usage of the app and your borrow repayment history. It may get higher over time, okay? You will typically get 4 weeks to repay the loan plus the 5% flat fee. If you have not repaid the loan in full by the due date, that's when you actually will get charged the 1.25% finance charge per week on the outstanding balance. So this is kind of important. If you are, and you have to, if you are enrolled in automatic payments and do not pay off the Cash App Borrow loan by your due date, the Cash App Borrow feature may deduct the loan balance from the Cash App, balance or debit card. Okay, let me drink some water here. So I was actually saying that when it comes to Cash App, you have to really understand that you may not qualify for a Cash App borrow feature. Okay, but the thing is, there are other ways you can borrow money if you're not eligible for a Cash App, for instance. So you have cash advances and you have personal loans. So you have a lot of options, really. Okay. So if Cash App Borrow for any reason is not currently available to you, maybe because you don't have the proper profile, or you're not in a state where Cash App is actually valid, and if you don't have an emergency fund from which to borrow, or a family member who can make a quick loan to you, think about cash advances. You can get a cash advance on a credit card. Many cards have a 3% to a 5% cash advance fee and a higher APR for cash advances than purchases. You might also consider using a cash advance app such as Brigit or Empower, for instance. And cash advance apps allow you to get a small advance on your next paycheck, much like a payday loan, without excessive fees. However, cash advance apps often have fees, so you want to compare the apps before getting an advance to determine your best option. You also have personal loans, right? You can get a loan all the way to $100,000. I mean, if you go to SoFi, for instance. So when you think about borrowing money from Cash App, you do have some benefits to actually consider when you think about Cash App as a borrowing source. So the thing is that one Cash App borrow benefit is it's a relatively streamlined and accessible process. Nothing really complicated, pretty straightforward. So requesting a personal loan from, let's say, a bank or a credit union involves a deep dive into your finances and could take a month to be approved for. Plus, most banks won't issue small loans like the ones Cash App initially offers. So, facilitating payment through a secure platform like Cash App is a positive too, because if it's between this and going to get a paycheck advance from a predatory place, this is a better option. Because the flat 5% fee is low for a personal loan, the options to pay back your loan early, in full, or pre-scheduled auto payments are helpful ways to minimize the chances of being late too. So that's kind of cool. And so one thing for sure, if you think about Cash App Borrow, this is not really a good option to build credit long term when you think about it, because I mean, when you have only 4 weeks to repay the loan, this is not a long time to actually establish credit. But listen, it is still good anyway. Okay, so this is really important to think about it that way. So when you think about the Cash App overall, when you think about the drawbacks, it's important to understand that it's all about the fact that you don't have a large loan amounts. Okay, then this could be a problem for certain users. But hey, listen, if you're looking to borrow a small loan amount from Cash App could be the possibility, could be the right tool here. Remember that a Cash App borrow loan is only a good deal if you have no cheaper alternative borrowing options and you need the money for an emergency. Just be sure to pay off the loan before the grace period ends. And Cash App Borrow is better than getting a payday loan, which can have up to a 400% APR, or even a bad credit personal loan with high APRs and origination fees. So it's one of those things where you have to really look at the pros and cons, the cost, the fees, okay, and so really balance things out and see which one can really which one can be better for you. So here's a recap into this conversation. I spoke to you about how to borrow money from Cash App. I gave you the approach. I gave you also how to borrow money from Android or iPhone. And now the recap. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.